what I'm going to do, though, today is I'm going to give you a full day class in about 30 minutes. All right, so I'm going to roll through this stuff pretty quick. The idea here is to just give you an idea of how you can turn your database into a gold mine, how to get your database cleaned up and start cashing in on more business from your database versus having to go out there and find the next piece of business every single day. Does that sound, you guys like going out there looking for new pieces of business every single day for your whole career? Would you rather have them coming to you more often?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this course is written, here's the thing, the reason why I'm just going to go through it pretty fast today. You're going to have a free resource site that you can watch a 45-minute webinar on why your database is so important. There's another 45-minute webinar. It's free. You can access all this stuff on setting up the campaigns and action plans. You can get all the letters that I use for my drip plan, but I'll say that cautiously because it's not the letters that make this plan work, guys. It's the personal touch. And when you're feeding your database every single day and creating new relationships, the hardest thing is how to keep track of who to call next or who haven't I talked to in the last 30 days. So this is really about just getting your database organized and setting up a system so it tells you who to call every day. There's a lot of huge benefits that come along with getting these action plans and campaigns in place. One of them is if you've ever wanted to be consistent on your lead generation time, this program will get you consistent on your lead generation time because your computer system, your action plans and campaigns, your database will give you a list of people to call every single day. So here's what I know about most real estate agents, and I mean just about most. We all want to succeed in real estate. We all want to be more successful than we are right now. We always want to get better. And I think if I personally, or if Tony even walked into every one of your offices every day and handed you a list of 5 people to call and said, hey, these people are expecting your call, they could turn into real estate business today, you'd probably all call them, wouldn't you? Yeah. In fact, if he walked in tomorrow and handed you another list of 5 and said, hey, these people might be doing real estate today, they are expecting your call, you'd call them tomorrow, and you'd call them the next day, and you'd call them the next day. What I find with a lot of real estate agents, a lot of training we take, even like when Bold comes to town, we can call 20 people a day during Bold, especially for the first week. By the second week, do you feel like it's a struggle figuring out who the heck am I going to call again? Or who are the next 20 people I'm going to call, and have a list of 20 people to call every single day for 7 weeks? Is that a challenge for a lot of people who have been through Bold?
Yes.
Yeah. So once you focus on just feeding your database and set up an automated plan that has 7, 8, 10, or really kind of unlimited phone calls with every single person you ever meet from this day forward, that you don't just call them once and see if they're doing business, you're going to call them again and again and again, and you're going to brand yourself as the realtor. So the whole idea here is just to give you a quick, like really quick overview on this so you guys can get excited about your database. If the class is right for you, you'll have all the information to go get that. However, you will also have a free resource site. You can do this all for free. You don't even have to sign up for the class. It's just a matter of that class helps you get on track and keeps you accountable every week to staying focused on your database because you've got all these distractions that want to come in your life. I should say before I start, it would be good if anybody on the Hangout has any kind of expectation of what you were hoping to get out of this Hangout.
I don't know the questions to ask. That's why I'm here.
Awesome. Okay. No, that's fair. Thank you very much.
I'd like to learn how to create an action plan. You talked about action plans for when we add nets to our database so that it comes up in our lists of tasks that we need to do today. That's probably the big one for me.
Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to cover today are the action plans that will get you the most business over a long period of time. Once you put these 3 pillars to turning your database into a gold mine, but every single person you meet, we know that NAR says the average person moves every 7 years, right? So what happens with most of us is we're out looking for the next deal, or I like using bold as an example because when you're making 20 contacts a day, 100 contacts a week, and if you've ever been through bold and you did that, you probably got about 2 or 3 appointments. If you talk to 100 people in 1 week, you probably got about 2 or 3 appointments. Well, what this plan is about is not so much the 50 people out of those 100 you talked to that wanted you off the phone as quickly as possible because you were a salesperson. It's the 47 people that didn't meet with you that were nice. They were polite. They let you use your scripts, and they listened to you, and they didn't hang up on you. And they just said, you know, hey, I appreciate the information, but I'm not doing anything right now, and I don't know anybody else that's moving. You guys find that that's a similar case when you make 100 calls, you get 50 people that are rude, you get 47 people that are nice, and you get 3 people that want to meet with you? Is that a fair number to lay on the table to start this out?
Sure. Sure.
So all we're talking about is those 47 people that were nice. If you now stay in touch with them on a regular basis, not necessarily about real estate, just that you were thinking of them, and that if they have any questions, they can call you. And, hey, I know you're not buying or selling right now. You told me that last week, but I'm just checking in on you to let you know I'm here for you if you need anything. And you do like real casual calls like that. The average person moves every 7 years, so you can get 6 to 8 times more business from this group of people that we're just letting fly off the side. So again, it's like Tony just said, man, if I'm going to put 47 people in my database this week and 47 people in my database next week, and these people aren't buying real estate, by the way, they may not be buying for the next 7 years. I need something to remind me how to stay in touch with them, maybe what to say, and send them some things along the way until they do decide to buy. Because out of 47 people, 4 or 5 of them are moving this year, 4 or 5 of them are moving next year, 4 or 5 are moving the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. So that's what this plan's about. So again, if it works out for you and you can jump on tomorrow's call, it's great. If not, or you're going to miss the first call because you've got something on your calendar, there's not a call that's not important in this class. I specifically designed it for you to master the stuff that I'm about to share with you, to really get it in place and really get it going. Now, you still have to take action and do some things. So some people are going through the class 3 and 4 times so that they get it all in place. But really, it's set up so you could do it the first time if you just did the action items every week. The calls are recorded, so if you missed any calls, the first couple of calls, you could probably miss the live call and watch the recorded call and stay on track with everything. You do have some action items to work on in the first couple of calls, and they are actually critical action items to work on that will make the rest of the course easier. But it's not critical to the point where it's really detailed and you needed to be on the call to be able to ask questions. It's really about mindset and all that first. But the mindset is like, I'm serious, the people that just don't do call 1 and 2 don't get the rest of the course in place, because you got to get your mindset straight, and that's probably one of my biggest challenges as a coach. I'd rather get right into the meat and potatoes right away. And I got to get your mindset straight first. So we cram a lot of information in the very first call on getting your mindset straight and how to look at your database different. The second call, we just talk about what you're looking for in a database, and I suggest you get signed up for 3 different databases and find one you like. So the right database to use is the one that you'll use every day, okay? So that's kind of a little setup on where we are, but I'm going to go through a full day seminar, and we might be on the phone we might be on here a little longer than 30 minutes. This is really just to cover all this information in a really short period of time. You'll have access to it. So again, here's the thing. Here's where this came from. We're busy, and what I find with most agents, well, every agent that I've met in any kind of training class, I don't have lazy people in a training class. You guys got up out of wherever you were, bed, home, whatever. You came into the office. You're not lazy agents. We are busy, and we're always busy every single day. That's the cool thing about real estate, is there's a lot of different things happening. It's never the same day. Makes us, think on our toes when things are falling apart. You got to do solutions. So, we are busy people. We schedule appraisals. We have to put signs out on listings. We just took a listing last night. We got to get all the photos on. We got to attend closings. We got to coordinate the transaction, make sure it gets to closing. We got to post stuff on Craigslist. Kind of sound like your normal day, right? So, guys, we're busy. So the thing that we have to really look at is how do we build a system that can handle all that busyness, yet keep us focused on the right activities that will keep our business growing. Because one of the things that you all know is that 80% of what you do every day generates 20% of your results. Let me say that a little differently. 20% of what you do every single day generates 80% of your income, but you're doing it 20% of your day. So what you do is you build a system like a 20-lane highway versus building 2 lanes this year, and then we have to put the whole thing under construction next summer and add an extra lane or 2, and then the next summer we have to add 2 more lanes, and you're always putting these highways under construction. The cool thing about real estate, there's enough people that have done it before us, and we can just build the 20-lane highway right off the chute. I mean, we can take up as much space as we want. It's a computer system. So when you build your business to handle the volume that you want to get to, or you build your systems even bigger than the volume you want to get to, it'll make the volume you're doing right now easier. So the cool thing about systems is it allows us to be more consistent. You get to set it up ahead of time. And this is the cool part about what I'm sharing with you today. The hardest part is setting the system up the very first time. Once you set it up, you don't have to ever set it up again. Once you set up a system and it's predefined and it's repeatable and it's automatic, all you got to do is add somebody to the database and hit the start button. So like right now, guys, I create action plans daily. Now we just create action plans around everything, and because I do it every day and have been doing it every day for 15, 20 years, I can create action plans like overnight. One of the things I do now is I'll go into an office, and in 2 days I will take a mega team, automate their entire business in 2 days. It would probably take them 2 years to get anywhere near that, but it's because I do it all the time. So the hardest part is just setting it up. Once you get through that, and in this course I kind of walk you through step by step how to set up 3 of your pillar action plans that will help you get more business out of your database, and then you'll know how to really set up all the other plans. So a system is just consistent, predefined, repeatable, and more importantly, it's automatic. The plans that we're going to talk about today are geared around those 47 people to put them on a plan that reminds me to stay a lot closer in contact with them than I ever did before, because they're all going to move over the next 7 years. There's 47 deals in those 100 people that's going to happen over the next 7 years. Now, if I add 100 people a week every week, right, for 7 weeks during Bold, take 47 times 7. That's 47 times 7 weeks. That's 329 people that are going to move over the next 7 years. Well, right there is 47 transactions a year. So you want to do an easy 50 deals a year, it's the 47 people that aren't doing anything right now that are your 50 deals a year, year in, year out. Does that get you guys a little excited about your database?
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's the thing. The database is full of people that already know us and like us, or we've met them somewhere. That's why they're in your database. I understand some of you may have people in your database that are like a farm or a neighborhood, but I want you to start thinking of your database as the people that you have connections with. That's who you're going to put these plans on, the people that you actually talk to. And again, here's the cool part. Totally different than any training you've ever heard in real estate. I don't care if they're buying or selling real estate right now. You treat them as if they were going to sometime in the next 7 years, and you want to make sure you don't miss them. Because again, here's the other thing. If I take those 3 people and get them in my database, or the people that said, yeah, we're probably going to do something in the next month or 2 or 6 months, that might be 6 people out of 100. But what are the chances that you're actually going to call one of those other 40-some nice people the year they're deciding to move? It's probably not going to happen. So people do like working with people they know, like, and trust. And if you bring the personal touch back in, the personal touch takes time, right? So it could get to a point where this is the hardest thing to do, is to actually sit down and write somebody a handwritten note in your handwriting, or to pick up the phone and call somebody. What you'll find with these plans is if you automate the rest of your business that doesn't need your personal touch, to free up your time to do more personal touches, you are going to get 6 to 8 times more business. Everybody hanging with me on that so far?
Yeah.
Sweet. So it's all about mind share. It's all about branding. And I'm going to take you through a quick branding thing, because what you have to do is you have to get to the point that when those 47 people 2 years from now think of real estate, or their husband comes home and says, honey, I just got a promotion at work. I know you've been wanting to move out of this house forever, and it's a huge promotion. So let's go look at houses. That you better be the first person they think of, that you met them 2 years ago and you've talked to them several times over the last 2 years, that they're like, oh yeah, we need to call Tony, or we need to call Brad, or we need to call whoever, right? Brandon, right? So they've got to remember to call you. If you didn't stay personally in touch with them, or you just had them on an all-email drip campaign for the last 2 years, what are the chances they'll probably call you? So it's all about making sure they think of you. So here's the branding game. If I were to give you a product, just like think of the different brands that pop in your mind. If I said tennis shoes, what's first couple brands you think of?
Nike.
Yep. If I said potato chips, start naming off as many brands you can think of.
Lay's. Doritos.
Funyuns.
Hey, what about toothpaste?
Crest.
Colgate.
Yep. So what you guys want to become is, and I know most of you in there said Nike for tennis shoes, you said Lay's for potato chips, you said Crest or Colgate for toothpaste. You need to be the Nike, the Lay's, and the Crest or Colgate of their real estate spot. When they think of real estate, they think of you. So here's the game we know from the MREA book. What we're trying to do is move people from the haven't met group to the met group. 8x8 and 33 touch is a lot more business than this 50-to-1 group. So let's just put everybody on an 8x8 and 33 touch and get more business. Well, guys, if you're not really connected to people, it's not going to matter how many times you touch them. So I'm going to change your vocabulary a little bit. It's still met and haven't met, but here's the distinction. How many of you have a database? How many of you have been in business for longer than 5 years or so?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
5, 6.
So do you guys have a database of past clients that haven't heard from you in probably a year or two?
Yep.
Yeah. So here's where we got messed up on these plans, because it's a past client, obviously you've met them. So our brain says, well, they're a met, I'm going to put them on an 8x8 and a 33 touch. Well, you know what I figured out coaching people is that they would say, well, and maybe some of you have said this too. It's like, well, you know, if I were looking at this one client, I haven't talked to them for 3 years, Brad. I sold them a house 3 years ago. I probably don't feel comfortable putting them on a 33 touch like right away today. Any of you kind of feel that way about some of your database people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what that meant, it was a trigger for me to connect some dots that went, okay, so they're a met, but we don't want to put them on an 8x8 and a 33 touch because that'd probably be too much. So really what we're talking here is connected. And when you're connected to somebody, you'll have no problem putting them on a 33 touch. If I met you today and I write you a handwritten note and said, hey, it was great meeting you today, and then you get something from me every 11 or 12 days, and you liked me, right, and my note was really nice and says, hey, it was great meeting you, you're sharp, you're witty, really enjoyed the time, are you really going to call me and say, hey, quit sending me stuff? No, you're going to like getting it. And I'll tell you another little quick thing of how this works. How many of you love going to the mall? I love real estate agents. How many of you in the room, if you're going to the mall, it's because you're walking into the store you have to go to, you're getting what you need, and you're getting out of that mall as quickly as possible. How many of you is that?
Me.
If you're in the mall to shop, you're getting what you need and you're getting out, right? So a salesperson walks up to you as you're walking into a store. How may I help you? And what do you say normally?
I
Just looking, right? Now, you guys just told me if you go to the mall shopping for anything, you want to get in and out of there as quickly as possible. So what if, and so I know what you look like when you're walking through the mall. I know what I look like when I'm walking through a mall. So if that salesperson was really tuned into me and I walk into that same store and the salesperson walks up to me and says, hey, you look like you're in a little bit of a hurry. Can I help you get in and out of here a little faster? How many of you would love that salesperson greeting you at the door?
Oh, yeah.
Love them. They'd be your favorite salesperson ever. Yeah, I just need a tie. Great, let's get you out of here as quickly as we can. Oh my gosh, this person's awesome, because they paid attention to me and paid attention to what was going on. They saw me walking fast. They saw me like not looking at them and looking for where the ties were in the store, whatever it might be. There's this limbic part of the brain that is a defense mechanism. It's the very first thing. Everything that our eyes see goes into our body and it gets processed through the limbic part of the brain. And everything that's happening that we hear or see we put it through a filter, and it's like, okay, is this safe? Is this somebody who's here to take advantage of me? Is this, and it all happens so fast you don't even know it's happening. But when somebody says, hey, you look like you're in a hurry, can I get you out of here a little quicker? Oh my gosh, yes. What you did is you just got past the limbic part of my brain that says, this person might be okay, they're not here to take advantage of me, right? Or clean my wallet out or take too much of my time or whatever. So it's that automatic defense mechanism that we have. Once you meet somebody and you write them a handwritten note that says, it was great meeting you, and it doesn't have a business card in it, it's not even a real estate card, it was great talking to you, loved the conversation. Now, everything after that can be real estate because I got past the limbic part of the brain. They already know that I'm not there to just take advantage of them. So what happens with our real estate clients is we think we can't call them or hit them 33 times a year because I haven't talked to them in 3 years, and they're just going to go, oh, here he is trying to sell real estate again. That's what our brain tells us. Really, if you just connect with them and then you stay in touch with them really close, you can start to get through that limbic part of the brain, and you'll be there when they're ready. So here's the thing. All of this is about having multiple mediums of marketing. We got to hit them from a lot of different directions, not all email. Not all postcard. We already know what the results are on that marketing. It's a 50-to-1 return. So what you got to do is move to that 12-to-2 return, which is getting people connected and then staying in touch with them 8 times in 8 weeks and 33 times a year. That's the most important thing you do. So we have all this different stuff out there. We got TV, commercials, cold calling, direct mail, and now with the internet and technology today, we have email, we have social media sites, we have all this stuff. So how do you keep track of all of it? Well, you create a system that reminds you to do one of these little things every once in a while, or what's cool about technology is I can even automate a lot of this stuff. I can have automatic posts go to social media sites. I can have automatic emails go out. I can have videos go out. You just want to mix all the mediums up so you're hitting them from a lot of different angles. Keeping track of that manually is about impossible. Another reason why this system works so well is I just love what Michael Mayer, the pyramid that Michael Mayer put together in his book, 7 Levels of Communication. He talks about the pyramid, the 7 levels of communication pyramid. And you can see here on the left-hand side where it talks about impact. The impact at the bottom of the pyramid, which is where more stuff is happening and your competition is hanging out and all the other business people are hanging out, has the least amount of impact. So if I'm doing advertising, direct mail, or I'm doing an all-email campaign, that is what we call the informational zone. Or I should say it's what Michael Mayer calls the informational zone. What you're doing is you're sending out this stuff you're hoping that the information is so valuable that they're going to pick up the phone and call you. On the pyramid, basically advertising, direct mail, electronic communication is what most people do. It's the informational zone. Guys, that zone right there is called lead receiving. You're sending information out, or let's put it in a better perspective. They're going to a website, or you guys are buying leads from some company that rounds up all kinds of email website addresses for you and gets them to fill out the form. What you're doing is you're putting information out there and you're waiting for them to want the information enough that they'll put their email address in or something and hit submit. That's really lead receiving, not lead generating. You're not going out and finding business. As you move through the pyramid, like once you write a handwritten note, it moves you past that limbic part of the brain. It gets you into the trust zone. They're like, hey, this person's nice. They actually took time to write me a nice note. I mean, how many notes do you get in the mail every day, right? So once you get there, then you start doing phone calls, one-on-ones. You have events like customer appreciation parties. And those, even though less people do it, it's got the biggest impact because what you're doing is you're talking to people one-on-one and you have influence over them. here's what influence looks like, is you actually can hear opportunities like, well, we're kind of running out of room in our house, or, our house is starting to need a lot of work. We're thinking we might want to move to something maintenance free, or our daughter just started kindergarten, and you might say something like, oh, so do you have college paid for? And they're like, college paid for? Our kid, we're just excited she's in kindergarten. It's so fun. It's like, yeah, but wouldn't it be great if college were paid for by the time she graduates? Well, you guys know how to do that, right? Buy an investment property, put it on a 15-year note. By the time she gets done with high school, you sell the property for them and they pay for college. So those are the kind of things that when we move into the influential zone, we can hear opportunities and move them forward in real estate. So here's the big difference, is we're just moving from 50 to 1 marketing to 12 to 2, and it does require some personal touches. So the next thing I want to roll into now, that's kind of the concept of why this works. Now I want to roll into, if you put it on an automated follow-up system and a plan that's in place that you don't have to think about every day, and just let the system do the work and tell you when it's time to call somebody and get into a conversation. And I'm telling you, the more conversations you get, you're going to hear opportunities more often. So that you do that through an automated action plan. It's probably the most underused thing and the most powerful tool that we have in technology with any contact management system is the campaigns or action plans. And all that is a series of events that I set up to happen. And the more you can customize it, the better. And you want to mix it up too. You want to hit them with a letter, then an email, then a call, then a be a pop buyer, drop them a handwritten note. Heck, some of the contact management systems today have text messaging. So texting is really cool, but I wouldn't want an all text campaign. I mean, if you got this text from this one person all the time, you would soon just like take them all out because you don't want the text. So mix it up, hit them from all different kinds of angles. Put as many touches as you want, customize it to be whatever you want. So here's kind of an idea on how action plans work. First of all, the difference between a Rolodex and a database and a contact management system, because there's a lot of them out there and we all are using the words interchangeably. A Rolodex is really just, I need to access somebody's telephone number. When I think of somebody today, it's like, oh crud, I haven't talked to Tony in a while. I got to call him today. I'll go to my phone. My phone is just an electronic Rolodex. I search for the last couple letters of his last name and up he pops and I hit call. But if I met 47 people, would I remember to call all 47 of them 30 days from today? I don't know about you guys, but I sure wouldn't be able to. If I have to remember to do something, it's not going to happen. If Tony said, call me back next week, if I don't put that in my calendar or write it down somewhere, it's not going to happen. I won't remember to call him in a week. I'll be on to a million other things. Heck, I can barely remember my wife saying, hey, will you make sure you move that thing out from behind my car so I don't run over it when I pull out? Yeah, I'll go do it. 10 minutes later, I hear a crash out there, and it's like, you didn't move it. And I was like, oh, crap, I forgot. So a Rolodex is where you go find a number when you're looking for somebody. A database, this is another tricky one. Outlook is a good database. It looks like a contact management system, but what it is, it just allows me to keep more information like address, phone number, email, that kind of stuff. But what it doesn't do is tell me to call that person 4 times over the next 12 months and to call them 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, because I'm not going to remember to call that person 12 months from now. So again, here's what I want you to catch from that. If you can layer in more personal touches in your follow-up process, you're going to get 6 to 8 times more business. If you keep it all automated with postcards and email campaigns where you just hit start and go, I'm telling you, you'll still do business. You're still going to get phone calls. You're just going to get about 1/8 of the phone calls that you could get from the people that are getting stuff from you. They're getting away from you. So the contact management systems actually manage your work. I love that part, manage your workflow. I can actually create campaigns and action plans for every piece of my business. From the time I take a listing until it goes under contract, I have action plans created so nothing slips through the cracks. And the way that looks is you have a dashboard that you go to in your contact management system every day that says, hey, here's some things that you need to do. Here's some people you need to call. And here's some other things that you need to do, like call this person or write a handwritten note or go get the sign and lockbox off of the property when it sells. I love this. I was speaking at California Association of Realtors, and I just found this quote from an agent. It's like, I envision a dashboard like the cockpit of a fighter plane. All the controls are there at your fingertips so you can evaluate your business. And she had stuff like the number of contacts in her sphere, the leads, the current listings, current buyers, what's under contract, closed properties. But another way to look at this, and this is what we cover in the course, is my dashboard is my 20% that makes 80% of my income is staying in touch with people and finding opportunities for the next deal versus having to go find the next deal every single day. So my dashboard, this is right off of eEdge, which everybody in Keller Williams has access to. I want to be able to pull up and see what calls do I need to make to do, what are my to-dos I need to do, what's my letters that need to be printed, that kind of stuff, because those are making the phone calls is your 20% that will get 80% of your new business or your money in your bank, right? Another way to look at it is in Top Producer, and this is another one that we use, is I go into my activities for the day and it'll show me what calls I need to make, what letters I need to print, what to-dos I have to do, if it's writing a note or starting the next plan. So when I have this series of events that come up and it's 33 touches over the course of a year, how the heck am I going to remember in 12 months that plan just ended unless I had an activity in there that said, yo, the plan just ended, to do, start the next plan, or this person gets nothing from you from now on. So every action plan, which you'll see it here in a second, always has the last to do, which is to start the next plan. So another cool thing about the database that I've done is if you can keep a picture of the person somewhere in the contact record, for me, that's been awesome. When I'm in the contact records every day, I attach a picture to the contact record so that if I see their picture 8, 10, 12 times in a year, at least now I know when I walk past them in a store 6 months from now, I'll at least recognize them, or I'll probably know their name because I see it all the time. You guys want a really scary feeling? How many of those past clients in your database that you haven't talked to in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years or longer, have you maybe walked right past them in a grocery store and didn't even acknowledge them, didn't recognize them? Scary stuff. So a sample of an 8x8 would be, once I meet somebody, this is how you become, I call this the brand plan. This is how you become the Nike, the Lay's, and the Crest. It's a lot of branding. And the more you can mix up the mediums, the better. You'll kind of see here that almost everything in here is letters and phone calls. And that was because everything was so easy, all email, that I wanted to get away from that. And so I went to all letters. And that's probably how I figured out that this really does get you a 6 to 8 times more return on your investment in your database, because I did letters and I didn't do it all email. The email database that I had wasn't really reliable, and I thought the emails were getting blocked, and many times the email never even went out because I had myself on the plan and no emails were coming out. So it just wasn't reliable, and I'm glad it wasn't, because when I went to all mail, I realized that that was having a little better response because they'd at least see the logo before they threw it in the trash. Where in the emails, they weren't ever seeing it, or they were deleting their emails in chunks. My filter to know if somebody goes on an 8x8, I want to make sure they're not just a met, but they're connected, is that I write them a note first. If I can't write you a handwritten note that says, it was great meeting you today, then you don't go on an 8x8 plan. You'll stay on a 12-touch plan, which is the haven't met database, because I'm not connected, and so I'm not going to put anybody I'm not connected with on an 8x8, because once they finish the 8x8, they're going on 33-touch. There is no 24-touch anywhere. There's not a 27-touch. There's not an 18-touch. None of that stuff has been written in any books. It's 33, 8x8, and 12-touch. Those are the plans that get you the best return. And again, here's the other thing. It's not necessarily like 33 is the magic number. It's just around 33 touches and not 12 and not 24 for people that you know or you're connected to. So real quick, I'm just going to blow through some examples because it's not, the content doesn't matter here. It's the matter that this stuff that's going out is kind of like the link in between the next personal touch. because the personal touch is where I'll get the business or hear the opportunity. They hear my voice. All of that's going to happen. And here's the other thing you guys will find out. When you put a plan like this in place, you'll be like just making one of your regular calls going, hey, it's Brad. How you doing? It's like, fine. Oh, Brad, man, I'm glad you called me today. I meant to call you. Last week, somebody at work was talking about their realtor, was really dropping the ball and stuff, and I forgot to call and tell you that, I told them to call you. Have they called you yet? No, they haven't. Well, give me their name and number, and I'll call them real quick and follow up. So there's not a postcard they're going to get that says, hey, has anybody at work talked to you about real estate and you forgot to call me? Call me today. What are the odds that that's going to land in their mailbox on the right day? So really the content doesn't matter. Like this first letter just tells them, hey, it's great meeting you, and we're looking forward to staying in touch. Here's how our team works. Most people probably don't even read this stuff. The other one's a puppy dog story. It's a chicken soup from the soul story. Now, the reason I have chicken soup from the soul stories and this next one that you're going to see, which is a recipe, it says, who says you can't have your dessert and eat it too, and it's a fruit medley pie recipe. Guys, these two right here are not real estate related. Remember, 47 out of those 100 people who were nice on the phone weren't doing anything right now. Why would I hammer them with real estate? Because then what they're going to call, then you are going to get a call that says, hey, I've got like 3 things in the last 30 days from you about real estate. You do know we're not moving, right? And it's like, I didn't even pay attention to them. So this stuff is in here so that they will go, oh, well, that was a cute story, and they'll pin it up on their bulletin board at work, or they'll stick it on the refrigerator. Guys, it's not the puppy dog story that I care that's on the refrigerator. It's that logo in the top left corner, right? I want them to remember the Quarantine Real Estate, Quarantine Real Estate, Quarantine Real Estate. Then I have a script pops up where we call them on week 4 and just say, hey, how's it going? It was great talking to you. Well, I guess it's been about a month ago. Then I got some more stuff that goes out, starts layering in some more on-purpose things like, how's the food? When you go to a restaurant, you tip a great waiter or waitress. Well, your tips are the referrals you send us. That's like tipping us and telling us we do a great job. So I'm starting to program them to start looking for real estate. And then this letter comes out about reticular activator system. What it is it's the RAS. And when I'm sending them all this real estate stuff, I'm turning up the volume on their real estate RAS. So guys, here's the thing. Those 47 people that weren't doing anything are all of a sudden seeing a lot of real estate around because you've got them so tuned into real estate, they're starting to see it everywhere. And then, week 7's like send them an item of value, something that they'll stick around the house or stick up on the door or whatever. And then week 8, and then the plan stops. So remember, you'll look at the plan here. Action item says 49 days after the plan starts, set up 33 touch. So another clarity point on this that we figured out is a lot of people are like, well, if it's 8x8 and 33 touch, why not just put them all together? Then I don't have to like end the plan and start the next one. The reason why is because the 8x8 is your brand plan. That sizzles you into the real estate spot. The 33 touch will keep you there because some of you said Doritos, but you said Lay's first. 76% of all sellers talk to one agent and list their house. 19% of the time they talk to a second one. You don't want to be Doritos. Okay, I mean, Doritos isn't bad because you're going to get a shot when the first realtor blows it, but if you're Nike, Lay's, and Crest, you'll be the first person they meet. Again, that you just want to be the Nike, the Lay's, and the Crest. So the 8x8, somebody should only go on the 8x8 one time in their lifetime, and then they go on the 33 touch forever until they become a client, and then you put them on a different plan. You take them off the 33 touch, and then maybe once it closes, you put them back on the 33 touch. But you don't have to brand yourself anymore. You're already there. You've already impressed them. What you don't want to do is put a past client on a 12 touch, though, right? Because then you slip back to Doritos over time or whatever. And the more personal touches you have, the better. The personal touches get the 12-2 return. Any kind of email, newsletter, letter, any of that kind of stuff that's automated keeps you in that 50-1 return zone. It's the calls. What it does is it makes those things make them answer your phone call more often, which give you the opportunity to find more deals. So again, content doesn't matter at all. If you don't have moving boxes, don't worry about it. You don't need to send them a letter about moving boxes. There's nothing about this letter that makes people call me and go, hey, I just got your moving box letter today, and it made me think I should probably sell my house. That doesn't happen. It's just there to keep the brand in front of them, right? So we send a moving truck. We just drive them back to our website every so often. We share a lot of chicken soup from the soul stories, or 101 ways to tell a kid you love them, whatever, some success stories, how we've helped people in real estate. That programs them to look for opportunities for us without asking them to. So if I send them a letter that says, hey, this is how we helped a for sale by owner get their house sold and make money, more money than if they had sold it themselves. Well, now if they have a friend who's been trying to sell their house themselves and they're not having any success, and they bump into each other the week they get that letter, they're going to go, hey, you need to call my realtor. They're really at it. So on the Make the Phone Ring Again course, guys, if you go to makethephoneringagain.com, that's where you can get the information about the course or get signed up for it. But if you go about halfway down the page on that site, you can go to our free resource site that has all kinds of videos and webinars that go over this stuff in a little more detail. We're kind of doing the fast-paced class here. But just to kind of go through these action plans, when you're setting up a series of events, the best advice I can give you on this is to write your plan out on paper first. And there's three things you want to keep track of when you write it out on paper. The first thing is it a to-do? Is it an email? Is it a phone call? Is it a letter? What is it? Is it a text? So you kind of put down what do you want your plan to look like? And keep in mind you're mixing the mediums up. So I'm telling you to determine what you want the item to be before you've even determined what the item is. It's to make sure you get some phone calls in there. So if I'm designing a 33 touch, for example, let's see if I got that here. If I'm designing a 33 touch, I will look and see what I'm currently doing that's automatic and put it out on a calendar. And then I'll look and see where I've got holes or where I can stick some new stuff. Now, if you have an all email drip campaign, I would suggest that you not make it all email. Get some letters in there, whatever. If your all email newsletter goes out on the first of the month every month and it's automatic, that's fine, but I would only count 7 emails of any kind. Dave Jinks told me once that any more than 7 emails is ineffective in your marketing. Any more than 7 emails is ineffective in your marketing. But all that means is just count 7 of them as one of your touches. And then just like I said, write it out on a piece of paper. Is it mail, email, to do? How many days after the plan should it happen? And then if you've got somebody else doing it for you. But what I did was I created all the blank documents and email templates first, gave them neutral titles, created the campaign or the action plan, and then I'll dump the content in later. Get the plan started. So some special tips. Just always add that last step that when the plan stops, you start the next one. Have 3 different plans, an all email plan, an all mail plan, and a mail and email plan, because some people you just don't have an address for, other people you only have email for. So if you only have email and you don't have an address and you can't find the address and you can't find their phone number, it's better to have them on an all email plan than nothing, but you want to get to the point where you have all of them. And then another little trick we show you in the class is to get your letterhead built into your letter so it just prints automatically. So once you do all this, you can take it to the next level and create checklists or automate your entire business through your follow-up plans for buyers, sellers, even your new listings, contract to close, that kind of stuff. So for eEdge users, just kind of wrapping this up, eEdge users, if you go to My Tasks versus clicking on My Leads or My Contacts, you can get to a dashboard where you can actually create these customized action plans like the Reconnect plan. And that Reconnect plan is a simple 4-step plan. You'll see that on the free resource site, that you can actually build a 4-step plan to connect with your database. That one thing right there will double or triple your business. I just want you guys to think of your database as a bank vault. That database makes money for you. So think of it like a bank vault from now on, and like I say, if you go to the resource site, you can get all that information about what that course will do for you. Yeah, so the call, it's a webinar, but you'll also have a phone number to call in if you're not in front of your computer. You don't necessarily have to be in front of your computer to get the information either. They will be on Fridays at 10:30 Central, so that'd be 9:30 Mountain Time. And it'll be every week. If you miss a call, you'll have a link to go back and watch the call, watch the recording, watch the webinar, and still bring any questions to any of the future calls. So it's a 1-hour call every week for 16 weeks.
MakeThePhoneRingAgain.com.
All right.
MakeThePhoneRingAgain.com. So it is interactive. I mean, you can ask questions throughout the thing. I can unmute you, and you can ask your questions. So you're not. It's not like it's not. I don't want it to be a training session. I want you to grasp the information so you'll put it in place.
Well,
all right.
I appreciate your time.
Hey, you bet. I appreciate the opportunity, Tony. I mean, I love it when people want to find out more about their database and, you know, really get a hold of their business and get control of it. So I appreciate the opportunity to come hang out with you guys for a little while today.
We'll see if we can get you on our calendar, get you out here to do some rafting in March or April.
Yeah, definitely. Come out for a day or two and really take you guys through this in a lot bigger way. That'd be awesome.
Cool. All right, you have a great day.
Guys.
Good night.